It looked like Kazuya died when he was thrown to the volcano, but thanks to his devil gene, he survived. The devil within him split into two parts. One stayed with Kazuya and the other one went in search of Kazuya's yet unborn son, Jin Kazama. Jun Kazama managed to fight off the devil attempting to possess Jin with their mystical power. The half of the devil wanders alone. Jin lived happily with his mother until Ogre awoke. After some period of time since the second tournament, Heihachi was fascinated by an ancient Aztec legend of the god of fighting, a biological weapon abandoned on Earth by an ancient alien race. Heihachi orders the Tekken force to excavate a temple located somewhere in central Mexico, but not much later, Heihachi learns that his entire force has been obliterated by Ogre. As it turned out, Ogre was truly the god of fighting with great power. He wanders around looking for strong souls to absorb. Heihachi, having witnessed the power of Ogre, seeks to capture it in hopes of ruling the world. After being awakened, Ogre attacks various martial arts masters around the world, including the original king from Tekken 1 and 2, Baekdu-san and Jun Kazama. 15 years after Jin was born, Jun sensed the approaching of a great evil. She told Jin about his origins and also told him that if anything were happen to her, he should look for his grandfather, Heihachi Mishima. Jun's premonitions proved to be true as Ogre came to Yakushima. Jin made a blitz on Ogre, but he was yet too weak. Jin fell unconscious, then awoke amongst the rubble and began searching for his mother, but couldn't find her anywhere. As his mother told him to, Jin visits his grandfather and swears revenge. Hearing what had happened, Heihachi takes Jin in. He also reasons that Ogre thrives on the strong souls of others. Heihachi trained Jin to use him as a decoy to lure Ogre. 4 years went by. In Jin's 19th year, when he gained great power under Heihachi's training in Mishima-style karate, Heihachi declared to the world that the third King of Iron Fist tournament was forthcoming. Whatever his true intention was, a lot of fighters take part in the tournament for individual reasons. They can be divided largely into 4 parts: Heihachi-related reasons, Mishima clan-related reasons, previous tournament-related reasons, and Ogre-related reasons. First, Wang Jinrei's granddaughter, Ling Xiaoyu, whose dream is to build an amusement park in China. After hearing that the Mishima estate is rich and powerful from her grandfather, she stows away on a yacht owned by the Mishima financial empire. Of course, she soon gets discovered by Mishima's men, but when Heihachi arrived, Heihachi found his men beaten and she catches the eye of Heihachi and then was raised in Mishima Zaibatsu. Heihachi promises to build the amusement park of her dreams if she wins the tournament. She accepts Heihachi's offer and enters the tournament. Her pet panda also enters the tournament as her bodyguard. Michelle Chang's daughter, Julia Chang, enters the tournament in an attempt to meet Heihachi because she suspects Heihachi of her mother's disappearance. There's a little bit complicated reason related to Ogre. Stories of sudden disappearances of famous martial artists all over the world began to reach her tribe and they became anxious. Long ago, when Ogre first appeared, it was Michelle's tribe that sealed Ogre, and also the legend of the god of fighting was handed down by them. Michelle knew by intuition that something is happening and goes to Japan to learn about the origin of the Ogre's power, but gets kidnapped by Heihachi. Because Michelle's pendant, which was being targeted by others, was actually a device to awaken Ogre. Anyway, Julia enters the tournament to rescue her mother. Eddie Gordo was born into one of the richest families in Brazil. His father was against drugs ring. One day when he was 19, Eddie came home from school to find his father shot and dying. According to his father's will, he falsely admits to the crime and hides in prison. One day during a prison riot, he meets an old man with great power using a technique he called capoeira. He trains under the legendary capoeira master. Eddie was released after 8 years of prison and hears about the King of Iron Fist Tournament 3 and the Mishima Zaibatsu. He decides to enter the tournament, believing he could persuade the Zaibatsu to help him seek his long-awaited revenge. 19 years ago, at the age of 8, Jane witnesses the horrific moment of Jack 2 being destroyed. She tries to restore Jack 2 with its remains. After 10 years of research, she successfully restored 90% of it, but was having trouble with its emotions. One day, she learns that most of the technology responsible for Jack2's AI was created by Mishima Heavy Industries, a subsidiary of the Mishima Zaibatsu. She hears about the King of Iron Fist Tournament 3 and sends unfinished Gunjack to the tournament to find the data to complete him. Mokujin, a training dummy made from a 2,000-year-old oak tree, has been kept in a museum for a long time. But when Ogre awoke, it gained self-identity and started to act on its own. While Jin Kazama was training hard to avenge his mother's death, he and the other members of the Mishima group goes to Korea. Jin gets into an illegal street fight and matches against Hwarang. The two draw and Hwarang experiences an unpleasant moment of the first blemish in his perfect career. Since then, Hwarang thinks of Jin Kazama as his rival. Shortly afterwards, he hears the bad news that his master, Baekdu-san, has been attacked by Ogre. He enters the tournament to beat Jin Kazama and to avenge his master. After failing to assassinate Kazuya Mishima in the last tournament, Nina was forced to become a test subject for cryogenic research. She lost her memories during the procedure. She reawakes by Ogre's powers, and because of this, Nina is controlled by Ogre and acts robotically. She enters the tournament with a command to assassinate Jin Kazama. Anna also awakes by the god of fighting's evil presence. But not like her sister, Anna awoke without any side effects, which saddened Anna. She felt the need to help Nina to restore her memories. King from Tekken 1 and 2 was attacked and killed by Ogre, so his orphanage encounters crisis. A young orphan, upon hearing news of his mentor's death, donned King's Jaeger mask and imitated his style under King's name in order to continue supporting the orphanage financially. However, the new king was not on the same level as his mentor and repeatedly lost every competition he entered. Armor King visits the new king and decides to train him, who would become King II. For 4 years, the two of them trained and the new king learned quickly, maturing into a forceful wrestler with extreme power. At this point, the opening of the third King of Iron Fist tournament was declared, and Armor King revealed to his student that Ogre was the one responsible for the first king's death. Lei Wulong, also known as Super Cop, launches an investigation when prominent martial artists disappear in his jurisdiction. During these investigations, Heihachi asks Lei to join the King of Iron Fist Tournament 3. Lei seeks to investigate the relation between the tournament and the disappearance of martial artists. Brian Fury, a former international police like Lei Wulong, was killed in a shootout in Hong Kong. His corpse was then transported to the laboratory of a mad scientist named Dr. Abel. Dr. Abel felt inferior to Dr. Boskonovich for a long time. Abel turned Brian into a cyborg and sent him to the King of Iron Fist tournament. However, things weren't going well for Yoshimitsu and Boskonovich. The cold sleep machine where Nina and Anna slept in was actually what Dr. Boskonovich created during his experiments in search of eternal life to preserve his daughter's body, who suddenly passed away. Boskonovich contracts a rare disease that affects the spine as a result of working on his cold sleep project. Yoshimitsu visits Boskonovich, and Boskonovich tells him that the disease can only be cured using the blood of Ogre. Yoshimitsu then enters the King of Iron Fist Tournament 3 in order to obtain the blood. Paul tries to win the tournament this time. He dragged Martial Law's son, Force Law, into the tournament. The first Kuma died of old age during his travels with Heihachi. His child, also named Kuma, became Heihachi's second pet. One day, when he was absorbed in watching TV, he suddenly went wild at the sight of Paul Phoenix. Kuma II enters the tournament to defeat Paul in battle. And so the third tournament begins. Paul defeats Kuma II and goes undefeated throughout the tournament, and eventually defeats Ogre. Paul, swelled with pride, leaves the competition under the impression that he has won. However, he had one last opponent in Ogre's alter ego, True Ogre. He was forced to forfeit again. After Paul left, the one who faced True Ogre was Jin Kazama. Jin defeated True Ogre and had avenged his mother at last. But all of a sudden, Heihachi appears with his Tekken Force soldiers. Jin is attacked by Heihachi's Tekken Force and received multiple gunshot wounds. Heihachi shot his own grandson in the head with a handgun. However, the devil which got into Jin after Jun died activated and Jin morphed into his devil form, Devil Jin. Jin then attacked the Tekken Force and his grandfather and flew off. Meanwhile, Brian Fury, who participated in the tournament at the bidding of Dr. Abel, got abandoned by Dr. Abel when Abel got hired by the Mishima Zaibatsu. Dr. Boskonovich and Yoshimitsu successfully obtained Ogre's blood. Gunjack snuck into Mishima-owned laboratory with Jane, but attacked by the Tekken Force. Gunjack rescued Jane but got destroyed again by the onslaught of gunfire. And Mokujin, who was awakened when Ogre was released, became lifeless once more after Ogre's death.